us church and makes the church important to me. And so, as I was racing to grab out of the closet my vestments quick, I grabbed this little piece. Does this look like a vestment? This is not a vestment. You know what this is?
It's a nice scarf.
It was my mother's scarf. It was my mother's scarf, and I've worn it every All Saints Sunday since she passed. And that's the thing. I knew, and I wish we could all know this, I knew that when Kevin said, I'll get him started, I knew he would. And I know you would. And I had confidence in that. And I was comfortable with that. The people I was passing at 80 miles an hour probably had some issues. But I had confidence. And I wish today that all of us could have not only that confidence of things in this world, but confidence in the truth of what All Saints Sunday really means for us. Because I can not only be confident that Kevin was here and he'd get things started, I can not only be confident that you would be here and kind of nice when I got here, even though I was late. I had all that confidence, but I also have discovered that I have a confidence that in this place and every moment of every day, there's more than the people I see with me. We are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, and it's not just pretty worship words. It's the truth. There are people who have gone before us and been examples for us, shown us the path, given us the way. Out on the porch right now, I listened to Sunday school for a second. They say, what were you doing hanging out on the porch for a little while? Well, I had to get dressed. But as much as we gathered here in this space, know and believe in one another. Know and believe that together we are church. Know and believe that the God who created Adam and Eve breathed his breath of life into each one of us as well. One day will call us to be a part of that cloud of witnesses, and there will be those after us who remember what we said and what we've done and the example that we have made of our lives. And so we continue to live with confidence. And what the church words are, in sure and certain hope of the resurrection that is to come. Sometimes it's not easy to live that way. Sometimes it's a challenge. Sometimes it's enough to get out of bed in the morning. But when we do, we need to remember that as we pry our eyes, I don't know if you're one of them. I am not a morning person. So as I pry my eyes open in the morning and look into the mirror, I need to remind myself that as I look into those eyes, I'm not looking just at me, but at the Spirit that dwells within me. We preach it, we teach it, but we need to live it and we need to believe it. It needs to happen every moment of every day, and it's a challenge, I get it. But we hold fast to our faith because, in part, those who have gone before have shown us how to do the job. I don't know, when you start a new job, they usually train you. Well, sometimes. When I was in high school, I got a summer job in a factory within walking distance of my house where they glued together the frames of windows for Volkswagen campers. And they set me over at a machine that cut strips of metal, the little pieces of metal with holes in that pull the windows open and shut. And they said, just stick the little strip of metal in here, push the button, boom, boom. And I worked on that all day. All day. I had hundreds of those little suckers in a box. I was so proud of myself. And they came and collected the box and took them over to the folks who put them onto the windows. And they said, these don't fit. Why don't they fit? Well, did you check the length setting on the machine before you started? I said, no, nobody told me to do that. The next day, I was gluing the windows. I wasn't cutting the metal anymore. But I wasn't fired. On-the-job training is helpful. But sometimes in the church, and sometimes as Christians, as we live our lives, we encounter circumstances that nobody's really prepared us for. We encounter circumstances that sometimes challenge our faith and everything we believed in our whole life long. And it's especially in those moments that we remember the important things. Number one, that we are not alone. That our God stands by our side. And number two, that there are those who've gone before and shown us the way. How do you do that? I don't know. When I was 3 years old, I'm telling you about all my saints today. That's what's happening. And I'm late, so you might be late. Oh, well. I can cut a little out at the end. But next door to my house, I was 3 years old. 3 years old. Next door to my house, Flossie lived. She was 93. 93 years old. And every day, I would go from my house to her house, and she would make breakfast for me. She would make breakfast for me. And it was a long time ago. So we'd have bacon and eggs and homemade bread. She made bread. And before she did the dishes, she'd take some of that leftover bread and break it up and sop up the grease in the bacon pan and eat that bread. And I think back now and I wonder why nobody ever told her about cholesterol. Yeah, she was 93. That's my point. She was 93. When you face moments in life that you're unsure of and unclear about, you are not alone. And if there's any message today, that's it. God provides for his people. He provides the power and presence of his Spirit in our hearts. God provides his word. We have Scripture available to us. It's more than just a nice book to put on the coffee table. And God provided his Son, who at the right time and in the right place gave up his life in order that we might live. Not just live now, but a life that begins now and in baptism connects us to forever. And that connection is the connection we celebrate today, because we are not here alone. What do you look at when you're in church here? Maybe one another. Maybe one another. The altar. The pastor, if he ever shows up. But this might sound a little strange. But as we gather for worship, another thing I would encourage all of us to do is to take some time, prayer time, quiet time, close our eyes and look up. And you will see the people you know. You will see the saints that you remember. And the amazing thing is, when you leave this place, other people will see them in you. That's part of our job. That's part of our mission. As we go out and try to recruit disciples, bring people to Jesus, it's not just what we say and do that matters to them, but it's what we pass on. St. Paul did it. You know, I'm going to tell you what was first told to me. On the night in which he was betrayed, and he went on in his letter. That passing on of the tradition never stops. The ones who passed on to us are still with us. And one day, we won't be here, we will be there. I don't know if you like that or not, but it's the truth. Amen.
Amen.